Now, an attempt by Kelly Khumalo's lawyers to return to the High Court on a watching brief in the Senzo Meyiwa Murder trial has failed. Magdalene Mnisi made her bid through a letter yesterday, which also details her wish to obtain dockets and transcripts.
Yeah, the state and defense objected to that request, saying it would prejudice the 5 accused. Meyiwa was shot dead in an alleged robbery at Khumalo's home in Vosloorus back in 2014. Newsroom Africa's Mnisi has been following the story. He filed this update.
In April, Magdalene Mnisi, the lawyer for singer Kelly Khumalo, was ordered out of the Pretoria High Court in a bid to protect the purity of the trial. 7 months later, she tried again to return to court.
Firstly, she requests to be admitted to the proceedings, to be part of these proceedings. And over and above that, my lord, she's also asking copies of the case dockets in this matter, namely Vosloorus Case 636 of 10, 2014, and Vosloorus Case 3751 of 2019. She also wants to have sight of the transcripts of the proceedings, including the bail application of accused number 2. My lord, the state opposes the application.
Among some of the concerns raised in April was about witnesses testifying in the presence of Mnisi, whose client was a potential witness. And while the state reiterated that the requests could only be considered if circumstances changed, the lawyer for accused number 1 to 4, Titi Tobani, also vehemently objected to the request, citing possible tampering with the trial.
We submit that with regard to her requesting copies of the docket or transcript from the state, it is also unethical because it will tamper with the other witnesses. It means her client will see what other witnesses will say, and maybe they might even try or attempt to consult those witnesses outside the court. With regard to the issue of her asking for transcript of the bail application, we submit that she doesn't have a local standing, even her client, because it was only accused number 2 who applied for bail, not all the accused. She's wasting the court's time.
Advocate Mshololo for accused number 5 told the court she hadn't seen Mnisi's letter, something noted as a procedural flaw by the presiding judge. After perusing the letter, Mshololo told the court that Kelly Khumalo was not entitled to the documents.
There is no prejudice that will be suffered by Miss Kelly Khumalo if her watching brief is not allowed in this court. Instead, the prejudice will be suffered by the accused before this court. Because in other words, she's demanding to have information before she comes to testify, my lord, which is not allowed in law. Above that, my lord, this case is broadcasted, my lord. That on its own has compromised this trial because they are watching, they know exactly what is happening in this court, but we have no control over that, my lord.
Judge Shipiwa Maumela upheld his earlier judgment, rejecting the request. Tumelo Madlala, the friend of the late Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa and state witness, spent the day in the dock, pressed on times certain events took place. He was adamant that he couldn't remember nor estimate after how long the alleged intruders entered the Vosloorus house post the soccer match they had been watching on TV. Madlala, who at times sounded irritable by Titi Tobani, also defended his identification of accused number 2 when challenged that he only heard and saw him on TV. Madlala would also not reveal how much he was paid by Netflix for his participation in the documentary Senzo, Murder of a Soccer Star. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Mnisi at the Pretoria High Court.